Hi, all of my crafty friends. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've done a video or a voiceover. Well, this isn't a voiceover, I'm actually doing this live, but oh, it's kind of nerve-wracking to start again. So, at any rate, today what I wanted to do was to go into Design Space and show how to upload an SVG file and manipulate it to what you would like for it to be, and to create a t-shirt design, specifically for our individuals that will be meeting face to face tonight for our first craft club. I think that it will be amazing. The files that I am using, I will make sure that I upload them into the file section of both our local crafting club as well as the craft therapy page. These come from Creative Fabrica, and if you like what you see, I will also put a link in the description so that you could go in and subscribe if you would like. And if my link is continuing to work, you can get the first month for $1. So I'll try to make sure that that is there as well. So the first thing that we're going to do, you see that I am on the Cricut Design Space homepage. I'm going to go up here to the left top corner and I'm going to click those three lines, and then I'm going down here to Canvas. Once you go there, it's going to bring up a blank screen. When we bring in our first item, one of the things that I like to do is to ensure that we save, because sometimes I'll get to working and then something will happen to the computer and I don't save. I know that they've created the autosave. However, I don't know how well that works, so I just try to save intermittently. So what you just saw me do, let me go back for a second. So we're in the design space. This is our canvas here. And we're going to go over to the left, and these buttons allow us to bring things into our projects. Now, I have already downloaded this item, or the two items, the SVGs that we will use, from Creative Fabrica. So I have them on my computer now. So this is after you've gone into Creative Fabrica and you've downloaded it to your computer, this is what you will do. So I'm going to click right here where we have the upload button. Once we get to the upload button, you're going to see a whole lot of things come. Here are things that I've recently uploaded, but what we're going to do is go to upload an image. You'll click on this and it's going to bring you to this screen. On my computer, the drag and drop doesn't work very well, so I always click on browse. Down here, you can see all the different types of files that you can bring in to your canvas. So I'm going to click on browse now. And this is going to bring me to my desktop. Most of the time when you have downloaded a file, it will go into your downloads. However, I have already placed this onto my desktop so that I can easily get to it. And so one of the things that we're going to use today is the I put a spell on you. You see the little icon. If you use Chrome or Edge, when you see these little icons, that tells you automatically that this is an SVG file and not a JPEG or a PNG. So I'm going to bring these two in. So first I'm going to bring in I put a spell on you. So I'm going to double click this and it's going to bring it up. Now you see that the back of this is checkerboard. That tells you that there is no background that you need to clean up from here. And because it's already an SVG, you don't have to tell it whether you want to bring it in as a cut file or a print then cut file, because SVGs automatically come in as cut files. Over here, you can rename this if there is something that you want to title it so that you can get to it easier, or something that you feel like you would remember. You also can use tag words so that if you use these words in your search, it will more likely pop it up for you. We are told down here that this is a cut image, so you already know what you're going to be bringing in. I'm going to go down to the bottom right and I'm going to click on this upload button. Now that tells me that this is now uploaded into my Cricut Design Space. And before I go back to our canvas, I want to go and get the second image that we're going to be working on today. So I'm going to click that browse again, and then I'm going to click our browse button. Then I'm going to go here. Like I said, again, mine is on my desktop. However, if you download something, typically it will be in your downloads folder. So I'm going to double click on Pumpkin Spice Kinda Girl. That is the other SVG that I want to bring in. Now that is going to come in. Again, we have our checkerboard, so we know that there is nothing behind it. This is going to come in exactly like this. And then we know that it is a cut image. If for some reason you brought in the wrong thing, you could simply click on replace an image and get something different. I'm going to leave it named Pumpkin Spice Kinda Girl because I know that if I put in any of these words, it's pretty likely going to bring it up when I go to search my images. I don't usually use tags, but you could put in Thanksgiving, fall, you could put in coffee, you could put in pumpkins, you could put in retro, all of those things, words that you think that you might search for it. You could use those as your tag options and it'll help with your search feature. I'm going to go down to the bottom right again and I'm going to click upload. Now I see that both of these have come into my recently uploaded, and I want to now bring them into Design Space into the canvas. I'm going to click on this one. You see this green outline come around it. That means that you have clicked on it and selected it. You also will see it in a circle down here at your bottom right near your cancel button. That tells you what you're about to bring into Design Space. So the more things that you click on, you'll see them start to line up in this area to tell you these are all the things that you're about to bring into Design Space. So I've done both of these. They both are down here. If you put in something that you did not want, you can just hover over it. You'll see that a red X will appear. You could click on that X and it will take it away. But we do want both of these. I'm now going to click Add to Canvas. Down here on the bottom right, you see this Add to Canvas. This is going to actually bring it onto our workspace. So this came in really, really big. Like if you look at this, it has come in at almost 60 inches wide. And that is probably why it took a minute to think about whether it wanted to bring it in. Now you see this little lock button up here in between your width and your height. I am going to click on this to lock it back because I want this to resize proportionately. If you were to leave this unclicked, if you change the width, it would not change the height. However, whenever you click on it and it closes the lock, then whatever you do to the width, it is going to proportionately size the height along with it. So I'm going to bring this down to about 8 for now so that it's a more manageable thing for us to work with. And then I'm going to put it over here. So now I need to find our second one, which is probably just as big coming in. And so I'm going to click on that. If you notice, it turns everything that I just clicked on because it's all attached together. It highlighted all of the pieces to this particular SVG. If you notice on our screen, we cannot see it, but it does not stop us from working with it. And I want to show you something in case you have something that has popped up and you don't know where it's at. If you look over here, there's a little square that came up, and that's telling me that this is somewhere over here. And if I look really closely, it's actually behind it. It came in and both of those were grouped together when they came in. So when I sized the Pumpkin Spice Kinda Girl down, it sized down the I Put a Spell on You SVG as well. But if you notice, the proportions are a lot different. So over here, I am going to simply change this to 8 inches wide, and then I'm going to move its position. So first of all, we're going to go here. I'm going to put in 8. I have made sure that my lock is locked so that my height and width change proportionately. I hit enter, and you notice that makes it a lot bigger. I want to be able to see this on top of that pumpkin spice right now so that I can decide where I want to move it. So that's where your arrange button comes in. When you click on arrange, it asks you, do you want to bring this to the front or do you want to bring it forward? Some people think that sounds like the same thing, but as you have more and more things on your canvas, these mean different things. Right now, with only 2 things, it would mean the same. If you bring it to the front, it is going to bring this item that you're clicked on to the front of everything. If you were to bring it forward, it only brings it up 1. So think about being in school and you're all in a line and your teacher tells you can be the line leader. You get to get in front of everyone. But if you just cut the line, you probably only get in front of 1 person. That's the difference between bring to the front and bring forward. And sometimes you bring forward because you want things to be placed in a certain direction on your layers panel. I am going to click bring this to the front. You notice it comes all the way up to the front, but I don't want to keep it here. And you have one of 2 options. You can either manually move it over, or you have these X and Y positions, which come in really handy when you're trying to line something up specifically. So for example, your X is going to move you left to right. That is your top grid. So if you see these numbers here, that's the top. If you're moving your Y axis, that's going to move your item up and down to where these numbers along the side are. So I want to put this at about the 8.5 inch mark. I'm going to put a little bit of space between these 2. So on my X axis, I want this to be at the 8. When we click the 8 and click enter, it moves it to 8. But I really said I was going to do 8.5. So I'm going to change that. Now, right now it's at 0.247 on the Y axis. And if I want it to come all the way to the top, I would just change that Y to 0. Now, like I said, you also could just click on it, make sure that your box is around it, and you can just move it freely. I use this because I am maybe a little type A and I want things to be precise. All right. So now we have both of our images that we're going to do. For an adult shirt, I typically go with 11.5 by 11.5 if I'm wanting it to pretty much be very prominent over the top of on the front of the shirt or the back. You could put this design on the back of the shirt and maybe put your name up at the top on the front of the shirt. That could be cute. Or you could make it on the front of the shirt, which is what my idea is for today. So we're going to first work with this one. So I'm going to move this over so that we can just focus on this one a little bit. Down here at the bottom, you have to kind of hover over it for it to light up, but you see that it says that your canvas is at 100% right now. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller just so we can see all the elements. So I'm going to click the minus button and it's going to take it down to 75. And that's going to make it so that we can see this a little bit better. Going to move that off to the side for a second and we're going to work on this. So like I said, I would typically go with whatever the higher number is, because remember, on your design space, you have to keep this with the allowance for the mats. So about 11.5, you're going to be able to cut comfortably. If you make it more than 11.5 on either your height or your width, you would just need more vinyl and to use the 24-inch mat. So I'm going to change this 9.797 to 11.5 and hit enter. And so that's going to show us what the design of our t-shirt is going to be. Now you have a lot of different things that you could do. So for example, this is retro and they have several different colors. So you see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors, and then we've got the brown outline that we're using. And if you want to understand how many colors you are currently having, because the different colors will tell you how many mats you're probably going to use and how many different colors of heat transfer vinyl you're going to need, or HTV. Up here at the top, you have a button that says Color Sync. If you click on this button, it tells you with everything that you have on your mat right now, these are all the different colors that you're going to use. Now, sometimes you might decide, I don't want to use that many colors. I want to do something that is just 2 colors or 3 colors, or I don't like these colors and I want to do something different. We're going to go in now and show how you can change some of these things and not have to change them all individually. So, for example, the first thing that I look at is we have our pumpkin spice outline. I really like that brown and I probably would do mine in that color, but I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and I see where my outline is. I can click on that. It's going to bring that color up here. It shows us that our operation is a basic cut right now, which means we're going to cut this out and we're going to be using brown vinyl, or at least that's what we're saying right now. It really does not matter what colors you choose on this canvas. What really matters is what color vinyl you put on your mat. That's what color your project would be. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do our save because we don't want to lose our project. So I click on the save button. I'm going to give it a title. Okay, so this is named September Club Project. Now, we also can do it into collections, which helps you to kind of separate out your different projects. This is going on a t-shirt, so I'm going to click t-shirt. And then I will click save. So now this is saved. We'll just click save periodically so that we can make sure that we don't lose anything. So now for this, let's say that we wanted to do I'm going to do like a turquoise teal color. I clicked on advance. I'm going to go over here to where my blues are. And I'm going to go this way. Say that I know that I want to do it about that color. This color. You see the colors changing in the background. Now, that's what color that is. Now, say you decided that you're going to be really funny and you're going to do things completely different and you're going to use some alternate colors for your fall themed shirt. I love fall and all the fall colors, so I would probably not do that. We're going to go over here and say I want to change this particular leaf right here to that same blue color. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find that leaf. That leaf is right here, and that's the color that it's in for right now. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to drag it up. And you notice it turns. So that's what your color sync panel can do for you. Now I'm not really going to do that. I'm going to put that back. And you can click the back button as much as you want. You did not mess up anything in this program because you can go back all the way to the very beginning of your program. Now, one of the things that I did think about, like for example, with my particular shirt, I want to make sure that these are all connected, and it looks like they are, which means that when you go to cut it, you will be cutting these things out together and they will cut in place, which will help you with aligning all of these different colors. Now, say I wanted to use these colors, but I want all of the word pumpkin to be one color, all of the color spice, kinda, and girl to be something. You can easily do that by changing out your colors. So say, for example, we needed to ungroup this so that we could look at everything individually. We have some buttons up here. I will tell you that sometimes it's really good to duplicate and hide one so that if you mess up and you want to just start over, you have it available. So I'm going to click duplicate. That's going to bring me a second one. And I'm just going to hide that one. If you click this eyeball over here where it says Pumpkin Spice Kinda Girl, and you see that everything else is up under it, that means that all of this is all grouped together. So I can click on that one and it will take it all away. So now I know that I have one in a safe space just in case I need to do something over. So I'm going to ungroup this. And let's say I like you see, we ungrouped one layer, which meant those things are now not attached. However, we need to ungroup more than one layer, right? I'm just going to click the undo button because it will replace it the way that it should be. That's the way it's supposed to look. Now we click this and we notice we still have the ungroup button. It's not grayed out yet. Once you can't ungroup anymore, it will gray this out. So we will ungroup again. So now you see, we click on it, we can ungroup again. So now we click on ungroup, we can ungroup it again, which means all of these are individually grouped together as well. So we can ungroup pumpkin, we can ungroup spice, we can ungroup kinda, we can ungroup girl. Now when we go here, we can't ungroup anymore. It's all that. So say I wanted to change this whole word to this color. You have two options. I can click on the I, go over here to my color, change it to the color of the N, click on my K, go over here, change it to the color, go on to my P, change it to the color, my U, change it to the color, and then finally click on my other P and change it to the color. So now all of my pumpkin is the same color. Say that I want my spice to be this pink color, click on my S, and these are all the colors that you're currently using. So you see how it's broken apart? That little space right there, it gives you a distinction between the colors that you're currently using and the colors that are available just as those first set of colors. And then you have your advanced option if you want to find a particular color. So I want to do the spice in that color. Make sure I got it right. I think I did. So then we're doing the P. We're going to pick that color again. We'll click the C. We're going to click on that color again, and the E, and that color again. Now, I like doing this way because I'm always trying to think of how to be most efficient with my colors. And I think that I would like to line it up better, having all of my colors there once. And so everything with pumpkin, I can group together. I'm using less vinyl because it's not all spaced out over a huge sheet of vinyl. And that just works best for me. But you can do whatever works for you. So then my kinda, I think I'm going to go with the darker orange. So then the I, I'm going to change to the darker orange. The N, the darker orange. The D, the darker orange. So you see what we have going on here. Then I think I'm going to use this really light pink, which will probably not be the actual colors that I use, but for now it will suffice to help me be able to clearly see what my pattern is going to be. Remember, the only thing that really matters is what color are you going to use on, you're going to actually put on your mat. So then since I'm going to stick with 4 colors, instead of 5, I want to make sure that all of my pieces also coordinate. So now I'm going to go over here to my color sync and go to my layers panel, and I see my pumpkin spice kinda girl. So I know that I want all of my pieces to kind of go along with that. So for example, first I have this other orange shade that is with my pumpkin. And as I look at this, I'm thinking that I'm going to want to change this maybe to that lighter pink because it does not have one that is that color. And then I'm going to do this orange again, because it is far enough away so that it shows variation still. And then we have that little piece right there that I think I'm going to go back to this orange so we can have some connectivity. So that's what I'm going to change that to. Now I've got these leaves and the little dot. I'm going to go and change that to the brown. I think I like that. And then we have these leaves. I think I'm going to change one to that pink. And I think the other one I will go with that pink. So as you can see, I have pretty much condensed all of my colors down. The only other thing that's left in this particular one is the inside of this leaf, which I'm going to change to brown. So I'm going to bring that up here. So now I have condensed my image to being only about 5 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit of green. So now I know that I'm only going to need 5 mattes and a little piece of green. So that's good for me. I'm going to go back over here to our layers panel, and now I'm going to reconnect all of these things. So like for the pumpkin, I need to put all the letters together because I want them to cut out exactly like this. So I'm going to hold down my shift key while I click on each one of my letters. And I'm going to go down to the bottom and I'm going to click attach. This is what I need for you to know about your panels. Up here, this is what keeps things together, takes things apart, and does things on your canvas. These will do the changes on your mat. So there are some things that you could do on here that would not translate to when you get ready to cut. So because I want to make sure they stay together on my mat when I get ready to cut, I'm going to attach them versus grouping them. So I'm going to click attach. Then I'm going to do the same thing to spice. I'm going to go over and so I have my S. I'm going to click my shift key, have my P, I, C, E. And you see these lighting up on this side. That tells you what you've clicked on. And I'm going to attach. Now I've got my K. Going to click on my shift key and click my I, N, D, A. And I'm going to click attach. And then my girl, my G. Click my shift key and hold I, R, L. And I'm going to attach. Now that is everything that I want to stay attached while it's on the mat. The reason that I'm not going to attach the little pieces is because I don't want them to get attached to this particular space. If I were to attach this pink area to that, then there would be that much space on my mat of just vinyl that's not being used. However, if I don't attach them, it's going to take this and put it as close as possible to the rest of those letters, thereby helping me condense the amount of HTV that I am using. Now, because I want this to kind of stay together while I'm working with it or whenever I move it on the mat, what I just did was I clicked the left side of my mat, the left side of my mouse, and drug it down. And now I'm going to drag it over to put it a box around everything. And now I'm going to group it. That's going to help keep everything together on my mat. Now, I'm done working with this one. I want us to go and find our other one. And I am going to let it change spaces for a moment. I will hide that one over to the side. And we're going to talk about this one. Same thing applies to this one. The first thing that I want to do is I'm going to make sure this is locked. And I want to change this to 11.5 so that I have a big enough one to put on my on the front of my t-shirt. So now you see we only have two colors for this. You could decide to change the colors. Maybe you want a different color orange, or you want your bubbles to be green, and you could do all of those things. So again, I'm going to show you. I'm going to actually change that to a green color just to give you guys something that you can see how you can change and add to some of these things. So I'm going to initially hit ungroup, and then I'm going to hit ungroup again. I'm going to click over here. Let me click on the button. So you notice now that all of these things are grouped together here. Those are grouped together. The word spell is still grouped together. But you don't really need to ungroup those unless you wanted to for some reason. Say you might have wanted to alternate the colors of the letters in spell. You could do that. What I'm wanting to do is change the bubbles. So now it has pretty much got all my bubbles, and the only thing that I don't see that it has is this little one right here, but I'm not worried about that. I want these to be changed. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go over here to my colors, and I'm going to find a green that I might want. Maybe I want that green. Maybe I want a more glowy looking green. I like that. So we've just changed that color. Now, you may want to change some other things to coordinate with the green. You may want to change these to green. That's completely fine. You get to do that. So now you've got 3 colors that you're going to be using instead of 2. You may want everything to be one color, and that's fine too. You can change all of these to the same color. And so now I don't think that I'm going to change anything, but I was kind of thinking maybe what if we had a wand that we could add to this, or a broom, or a cat? So if you wanted to add something to this, because remember, your imagination is your only block. If you wanted to add something to this once you brought it in, you simply go back over here. We would click on this one that says images. And we could either go by holidays, or we could simply search. So what if we search Halloween? Ooh, I might have spelled that wrong. So now this brings up 10,466 different results for what could be Halloween. And even if you found something that you liked, sometimes you can take just a piece out of a particular image and add it to your image. So, let's see. Lots and lots of images and things with regard to Halloween. It's thinking it has a lot of things to bring up. Lots of different images to choose from that can either give you an idea or you can incorporate it into it. Bats and brooms. So just to kind of show you that you could take things out of a particular image. I actually like this cat too. I'm going to bring that cat in, but I'm going to bring this Happy Halloween in because I want to show you that, like, if you wanted that witch or these bats or that spider, you could do that. So let's bring that into our canvas. I'm going to regroup all of these together just so that I don't lose them. Now, if I wanted to add this cat, I could size it down to whatever size I might want. So, like I was saying, we can like take this little kitten if you want. You could make it a little bit smaller, you know, if you wanted to add it to your project, right? So what is coming in is not necessarily all that you are able to, or the full extent of what you're able to do. You can do whatever you want to do. That's one of the things that I love about crafting. You know, if you wanted to add your little kitten over the top, that would be cute. The other thing that I wanted to show was, say for example, you have something like this. Move you over a little bit more. We're not working with you right now. And you just wanted this witch, or you just wanted these bats. You don't want all of this. Well, one of the wonderful things that I love about Cricut is that I can take the parts that I want. So for example, you can see that all of this is connected, and you know it's grouped because you have an ungroup option. So I'm going to click ungroup because I just want this black part here. So we can go ahead and I'm right clicking, delete that piece. I probably didn't do that correctly. Delete. Okay, so that goes away. I don't need any of, going to move that out of the way. I don't need any of, you might want that little ghost. I don't need the pumpkin right here. We can right click and delete that out. Okay, so we're just left with the black parts, and I want to get the witch and the bats isolated, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to go down here to the bottom. There's a little button right there that says contour. Now you only can contour one layer at a time. That was why I needed to ungroup everything and move everything into their separate layers. I'm going to click this contour button, and you see this came in at 377%. We definitely need to bring that down some so that we can see what we have. Okay, so oh, I clicked on the wrong thing to contour. Never mind. So you see, I was clicked on the ghost. That's the only thing that came up. We want this part. So I want to contour. I'm going to go back to contour here. It's going to bring that up for me. And the best way that I do this is if I know that I just want one isolated thing, I will go in and I will click hide all contour. It's going to leave one thing uncontoured. So you notice that's the only thing that's not highlighted because you have to have one thing left on the screen. And the reason that I did this is because I want only a very few items. And so it would be a little more difficult for me to go in and try to hide everything individually, although you can. Now, this little piece right here, you saw how that highlighted. I do need that piece to come back. So, and then I want these two bats, right? There we go. So once we click back on, we should only have those pieces. Let's see. There we go. We only have those two pieces. I don't want this ghost now that I think about it. Now, if you notice, these are connected. So say that I want to isolate them. I only want the witch and then I want the bats separately. I'm going to duplicate this. So now I have two sets. And on this first set, I'm going to get rid of the bats. So I'm going back to contour and I'm going to click on both the bats. That's going to make those go away. And then on the top one, I'm going to click on the witch and that'll leave the bats. Clicking on contour again. And I am going to now get rid of the witch and that little piece. And now I have the bat and the witch. So now you can add these things to your project. Now, you may not want this cat. You may want the witch to be right here. You can size her to whatever size works for you. Okay. You may want to add a couple little bats around. You could duplicate it, add another set. You could duplicate this one more time. And you could add another set here if you want it. So you see there's lots of different things that you can do. I'm going to go ahead and hide this because I think I like this way. So now you have this. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. So when you look at this all together, we have this. Now, we also have this one. And so now we have two different shirt ideas that we can decide on for our project. And so I hope that this gave you all a good look at how we can bring in different things, SVGs, and create something fun. Like I said, for all the individuals that we are going to meet in person tonight, this will be super fun. I hope everyone is ready. For those who can't make it or the people who interact with me virtually, this is something that you could do and it will be super fun and prepare you for the fall and Halloween. I know some people don't do Halloween, some people like fall, so just a quick variation. If you have any questions or if you need anything, please don't hesitate to comment in the comment section. Send me a message. If you're in our club, send me a message on the club page. If you're in my craft therapy group, please send me a message there. I am here to help in anything that you guys need. So I hope you enjoyed this. I am so excited to see what you make. So please make sure you post and tag me and let me know if I can do anything for you in the future. Okay? You guys have a wonderful day. Bye.